Okay, picture this. Two realtors walk into a bar. One guy prices the house at $485,000 and the other realtor prices the exact same house at $550,000. Who's right? Well, today I'm going to actually show you how the hell did they come up with that price, because I'm sure that's what you're thinking. How the hell do we do this? There is a system, okay? And I'm going to show you that system right now. So if you're planning on putting a home on the market and you want something like this done, let me know. You'll see, it'll just be like maybe 15 minutes or so, and I can show you exactly how we come up with the price of your home and how it all works. But here's the thing. I'm sure I'm going to offend someone in the first 8 minutes. That's just something I just got used to. And especially if you're a realtor, because you know who you are, okay? If you're using Zillow and Trulia and Movado and then and what else? And Realtor.com, I know realtors will actually go to those websites, get those prices, because they're all a little bit different for that same house, and then tell their seller, hey, you know what? I found out how much your house is worth. It's actually worth X amount of dollars. He didn't even bother using this tool, because this tool takes a little bit of effort, but it's very specific and it's very exact. That's why I like it. If you're the realtor that does that, you're doing your client a huge disservice. And I really recommend you change your ways. But that's all I got to say. Okay, so let's go on to the more right way of doing things. Okay, so here's something we call, this is a platform that's called CMA Cloud, or Cloud CMA, and it's inside our MLS. And like I said, it takes a little bit of effort, but it really gets me very specific on pricing and what I should actually price it with. Now, I already saw the home, so I know what the home is like. And here's the thing. You can see in the area, these are all the homes that are actually for sale, pending, or have been sold. Now, you're going to see there's a lot of the homes that are actually grayed out. The computer already knows it's not compatible with my listing. We're actually trying to compare apples with apples here, and it's got to be as specific as possible so we can come up with an actual price. So, since I see this, and here's the ledger. Let me show you the ledger. So here's the ledger, and you can see there's 3 active, 3 pending, and 4 sold in that neighborhood. And here's the house. It's 156 Sawyer Street, and you can see it's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 180,000 square feet, and was built in 1958. Now, I know that's incorrect because, yes, the whole neighborhood was built in 1958, but if you recall, there was a fire in my house. It burned down, per my previous video, okay? And so, it's a brand new home. It's only 6 years old. I think it was rebuilt in 2020. Therefore, even though that can use that as a little bit of leverage, and I actually can use that as one of the better features, I still got to stay within the price ranges of the neighborhood, because guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares if the house has been rebuilt. If it's a given amount in that neighborhood, if the market says it's worth X amount of dollars, it's worth X amount of dollars for every given reason, okay? So then we go down and look at the actual data. Okay, so here's the data. And these are all the same homes that were actually for sale, or actually pending, or actually sold. And of course, the ones that are not checked are not compatible. So what we're going to do is compare apples to apples. So the first 2, you can see this, it was actually temporarily off the market, and one was canceled. The computer does not count that because obviously nothing happened with those. But here's one on Cynthia, and 116 Cynthia. It's actually closed. It closed at 460. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Look at this, 1080 square feet, built in 1960. That's exactly probably the same floor plan as our listing. In fact, we'll look at the pictures in a minute, and that's a great comparable. So that one's checked, and it closed at 460. Here's one at 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. Now this one's a little bit bigger, 1,100 square feet, same price range. This goes a little higher. Okay, we'll check that one out too. Here's another one at Griffin, Vallejo, and 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. A little bit bigger, same time. Why is this so low? We'll have to look at that one. And then here's another one at Anderson. That also closed at 350. That's also kind of low, 350, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. And what else you got? These are 4 bedrooms. You can see here. Here's a good one. Here's a good example. Look at this one here. This 4 bedroom right there. If I bring this one up, let me go along with right here so I can put it along with the ledger. This is a 4 bedroom, 2 bath. It's 1,547 square feet, and it's built in 1983. Totally not comparable with ours. We're talking apples and oranges, okay? Not even close to what we have, because it actually closed at 579. Look what happens when I put a check box there. When I check that box, look what happens with the prices here on the right-hand side. See how they actually change? So I can totally manipulate this and exactly how I want it to look. And I know, for example, this one here I'm not going to check, obviously, because it's not compatible with my home. So if it was checked, because like I said, sometimes computers make mistakes, I would have unchecked it to get more specific and more accurate. And then we scroll down here, what else we got? Okay, this one here, 3 bedroom. That's pending. So, and also when it's pending, I know what they're doing. Sometimes the price is really low. They'll probably do the same strategy I do. Just go in there and give a real low price, get the traffic to come through, make the phone ring, and then go for the highest and best offer. And we won't know what those are until they actually close. So this one here is, on this one is actually a 4 bedroom, so I don't even count that one. But And everything else looks like it's 3-bedroom. Those are checked, yeah. That one's checked, yeah. That one's checked. Okay, so now they're all checked. Well, look at this one. Here's one, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath on Kemper. That's around the corner. This is around the corner. It's checked. Now, they checked it, the computer checked it because they gave it a really low price. I'm going to look at that, but I'll probably take it out because, again, I want the same bedrooms that we have, 3, not 4. But we'll look at that too, and the rest should be unchecked. So there's our data. So now what we do is we come up here, and we start from square one. So let's look at Cynthia. This is the exact match to the listing I have. And it closed at 460. But first thing I look at here, I look at DOM, days on market. It was only on the market for 4 days. These are the public remarks. Right here, you'll actually see what it says on Zillow, for example, or Trillia. Absolutely stunning. Welcome to 116 Cynthia Avenue. This is a turnkey remodeled 3-bedroom, blah, blah, blah. So that's all the details there. Then you got the pictures. And I can see, yeah, they put some money into this. I'm surprised they didn't get more for it. This is like a nice looking house, and yep, look, it's the exact same backyard. We have that too, but I think this is actually built opposite though, or maybe it's the same. Yeah, I think it's opposite. I don't know, but it looks pretty much the same type of lot. It's exactly the same, and they actually sold it for, I guess it was a fast sale. Sometimes sellers are just motivated to sell because they have to leave. Death in the family, birth in the family, they're relocating, divorce. Who knows what the problem is? I don't know, but that's a really good price for that house. So that's a good match. Now, I could go down to 460, but I know I won't because my job is to get my sellers as much money as possible. Ethically, of course, to see what features my home may have compared to other homes. So that's one. Then we'll look at this one in Anderson. This one is sold for 510, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath as well. Okay, this house has been also completely remodeled. It's a corner lot. It was in the market for 1 day. And actually, I know what happened here. An investor, I think, snagged this one up because I remember talking to the guy actually. And this is what they do. They put on the market. See, the list price was 447. I'm sorry, 474, and then they got the final price is at 510. So they gave them more than they actually put on the market for because it is a nice house. You can see they restaged it beautifully. It was worth every penny because they remodeled the whole thing. Actually, it says right here, exceptional corner lot, beauty in Vallejo, completely remodeled and move-in ready. There you go. Now, this one on Griffith is also a 3-bedroom and 2 bath, but it's only $255. And why is that? Oh, okay. This is not compatible. You can see what's happening here. This is a major fixer-upper, and they're letting it go really cheap. And it closed. Well, it was on the market for only 7 days. They put it on the market for $263. And they got $255 for it. So they even sold for less. Oh, I can see why. It needs a ton of work. Major work. So this one here, we're definitely going to take out. Where'd it go? Here it is. So if I take out Griffin, you can see now, look at the actual prices. They actually changed to the higher, now being the low at $350 rather than $255. So that's what that does. So I changed that one out. We looked at Anderson. This is a 4-bedroom. Doesn't count. Here's one on Corin Drive. This is 3-bedroom, 2 bath. It's about the same thing. Pending for $379. That's a really nice house. Been on the market, DOM, days on market, 17 days. Okay. I'll probably keep that one, even though it's pending. So I don't know, I should probably normally I would take it out because I don't know what the sale price is going to be. But because it's compatible with because for example, if it came in at the same price or give or take a few bucks, I would keep it. But because it has the same bedrooms and same baths, it's compatible. I'm going to keep it for now. So we have this one in here on Dinger. I think it's called Dinger. Yeah. So we're looking at this one's pending, 3-bedroom, 2 bath. And look at the photos here. I had a client come from LA and she was saying, what's wrong with people's yards here in Vallejo? Like nobody waters their lawn. Is there like a water ordinance in Vallejo? I said, no, not that I'm aware of. Just, I guess some people don't want to water their lawn. So this looks pretty lived in. It's pending right now at $465. It could be more, it could be less. I don't know. We will have to wait until it finally closes to see what it looks like. But that one there is compatible, so I will keep it. And on Radcliffe, that's a 4-bedroom. Here's a good example. Why is this check? Oh yeah, because it's a no-show, contingent no-show. Now this house is compatible, but but the bedrooms are wrong. I have to take it out. Plus, look at DOM, days on market, 56 days. Sometimes you can see here. So you can see here, the actual original price was 484 at first, 900. And after 56 days, I guess they got tired of waiting. They lowered it to 479. All of a sudden it went pending, but it says contingent no-show. What that means basically is they're waiting for something, either proof of funds, job employment verification, something of that nature to see if it's going to go through or not. But in the meantime, they don't want to show it until they make sure they got all those documents, because it could actually go back on the market if it doesn't pan out. So that one there. But because it's a 4-bedroom, I'm going to take that one out. And not only what happens now, you can see the pending actually changes to just 2 now, and the price changes as well. Yep, it came down a little bit. So here's one on Sawyer. This is just down the street from me. Okay, the pictures are horrible. I just say that honestly, because the agent put no time in it. Look at no description either. Like it's just blank here. On the market now, days on market for 34 days, and it's the same price. So I don't know what to tell you here. It's just blank because it is blank. So, but I'll leave. Is that one? Yeah, it's compatible. So I'll leave that one there. This one, $399. It's kind of low. On Round Street, around 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's compatible in size with ours, but let's see what the deal is with the pictures. So here's another good example. This is what I would do too. It's active, as you can see right now, meaning that even at that price, it's been on the market now for how many days? Does it tell me? Yeah, 7 days. So what they're going to do most likely is they're going to try to do an open house, and that'll get the phone to ring. People will be interested. They'll come in, and they're going to see they're going to get the highest and best offer in 7 days or within that time frame. Because that's what I did with my listing. I put it on the market for $429, and the phone rang off the hook. I did open house, and the offers came. Sometimes, because right now it's so competitive and prices are dropping, it freaks the sellers out. Like my client got freaked out. I don't want to sell for $429. I said I never said we're going to sell for $429. I simply said we put it on the market for $429, and then we'll see what happens. And of course, because she's the boss, she can accept and reject any offers she wants. But like I said, it's a strategy that is used today because of the competition with so many houses out there. And the last one here is at 410 on Kemper. But again, look at this one. That's that 4-bedroom, and it's It's really cheap. It's active. And there's only one picture. It's a brand new listing. So what they're doing now is they're strategizing to basically let's just go as low as we can, for a 4-bedroom home. They'll probably look at my list like, look at that house, that sold for $485, and that's only had 3 bedrooms. Come to our house, you get an extra bedroom, and we're only asking $410 so far. But of course, if they get 4 or 5 offers, then they go with the highest offer. I guarantee you this will probably sell for like $490, maybe even $500, because there's an extra bedroom there, or in that price range. So, but we're going to take it out because it's not compatible. Even though the price is lower, it's not compatible with mine. And as soon as I take it out, you can see the prices do come up slightly. So they're going to take that one out. So to answer the question, how the hell do we come up with this price? This is what I would do. I would say, Mr. Seller, according to my research, which you just saw I did, if your house is just a dump, a piece of crap, okay, it's not going to get much, $350. If your house is pretty average, you're living in it now, you're taking pretty good care of it, expect between $460 and maybe even $435 or to $434. If it's in mint condition, it's definitely worth $510. But here's the problem with that analogy. The problem is this: no one's going to pay that much money, because if you put a home in mint condition on the market for $510, the phone's not even going to ring. I mean, people just pass by it. They may look at it. You may get a lot of likes and a lot of saves on Zillow. That cracks me up. I see that all the time on Zillow. We got 19 saves. What the hell does that mean? It's still sitting there. No one bought it. No one put an offer in. So they'll just pass it by, because it's just right now the market does not really actually go for what they call market value right away. So what most agents will do is probably knock off like maybe 10%. But 10% isn't going to cut it. I mean, if I take 10% off of my listing, which 45, okay, if I go 10% lower, that's me, about 437? That's not low enough. I went with 429, to be honest, because I've been doing this for a while, and it just sounded good. Because you got to be careful. You can't go too low. If I went down to 400 or even 399, the phone will ring for sure, but then offers will come in at whatever, 400, 410, 420. At 429, I got an offer. I think the first one came in at 435, I think it was. The second one came in at 442, got one at 460. And then when the offer came in at 485, of course, that's the one we took. That's fair market value price. That was our goal. We reached our goal. We were happy, and we moved forward with that particular offer. So that's the thing. You gotta understand, it was my marketing too. A lot of agents, they'll do those, just put on the MLS and pray somebody buys it. I mean, there's so many other ways to advertise. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got TikTok, you got YouTube. In fact, YouTube and Facebook are my favorite platforms. YouTube because this is where all the, I guess you would say the youngins, the millennials hang out, and they're pretty much going to be buying a house in the very near future. And then I got Facebook where I have all my old guys like me, and they're baby boomers, and they're up there in their 50s and 60s, looking around for either investment property or to cash out of their property, to downgrade, all kinds of stuff. These are the best platforms aside from the MLS. So I say all that to say this. Today's market, you just can't have one option, MLS, and that's it. You got to be everywhere. Market aggressively. It's almost like guerrilla marketing. And most importantly, in today's market, you got to have a plan.
I took your little plan and I turned it on itself. Look what I did to this city with a few drums of gas and a couple of bullets. You know what I noticed? Nobody panics when things go according to plan. Even if the plan is horrifying. If tomorrow I tell the press that like a gangbanger will get shot, or a truckload of soldiers will be blowing up, nobody panics. Because it's all part of the plan.
So you got to have a plan, people. Anyway, listen, if you have a house, and even if you're not thinking about selling, you just thought it was kind of cool, you just want to see what your house is actually worth, it's totally free, no obligation, no sales pressure. I kind of like it. It's kind of fun. Just reach out to me. I'll be happy to do it for you. It only takes me a few minutes. Or if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and just shoot that below. Like it if you learned something. Follow me for more. I got all kinds of cool stuff in my head. I just have to find the time to put it together so I can put it out here on YouTube. And I'll be sending out some more videos real shortly. But I hope this was informative, and I hope you learned something.